It happened because that's the requirement of the time. We came in with a different thinking. We have a vision that required us to think differently. Especially what you mentioned about quality of life, walkability, green space. All these are vision targets, by the way. So we said, okay, how will we change an existing environment that we live in? And we created many initiatives. I'm going to focus on a couple because it's relevant to what we're talking about. The first is Project Joy, which we set up. We started talking about it in 2022, launched it in 2023. And this is to expand to do urban interventions where we improve walkability, as we said, and public spaces, and improve green space through parks. The first what we did was we set up standards and guidelines. We don't want to build random parks or intervene in built environments in improper ways. So we had public realm guidelines that were set up, created, and approved. And this is the basis of every park you see now, is based on very, very clear standards, both in terms of design and build. And we launched the program. I'm happy to report today, just now I got the final number. In terms of green space, we've done 13 plus million square meters of green space. And in 2 years, if you just look at this number and compare it to things we know, it's actually 4 times the size of Central Park, 10 times Hyde Park in 2 years. And we're going to continue to do so. And this is not considering all the mega projects that are going on, even the projects in housing that have huge parks. It's not adding this. This is completed, opened for public parks that are existing right now.
So not including King Salman Park?
No. It's not opened. So this is only open.
Functioning.
Functioning parks that are open and people are visiting.
Okay.
In terms of the urban intervention, which we spoke about walkability, there was a huge mandate for us, and we've done 650 interventions across Saudi Arabia. This includes from basically increasing the sidewalk and putting some greenery for walkability, to doing what we did in the seafront in Jeddah and in the eastern region, where we have cycling lanes. Jeddah at one point had no sidewalks. Like somebody just said, sidewalks are not good for cars, so they removed all the sidewalks. Now in Jeddah alone, you have about 60 kilometers of walkable streets, safely walkable streets. And the plan is to do about another, I think, 50 kilometers of this. We're going to connect the northern Corniche all the way to the southern Corniche. So you can go from Balad, لنبحر مشي ولا بالسيكل.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. And I have no doubt that we'll do it because the progress is actually, we're ahead of where we're supposed to be at this point. And in the eastern region, same thing. And anywhere you go across Saudi, you will notice in Hayel, we have programs with the quality of life to do full districts of interventions, not just one walk. We take a community and we build it. Same in Riyadh and in Jeddah. Hayy al-Rawda is going to be a landmark project for Saudi Arabia in terms of how we upgrade the infrastructure of a district and connect it together through walkability. And this has, Muhammad, so many benefits that it's not just for people to walk. It has benefits for small businesses. It has benefits for land and real estate owners. Some benchmarks suggest that there will be an increase of 20%, not 1 year, year on year, in some of the real estate that goes through these kind of interventions, especially the significant ones we're talking about. So this is one program, only one of many that we're working on, which is Project Joy. The other thing we're working on is how do we improve the aesthetic of the city? Okay, we can do interventions, but the building is still going to be there. We have an amazing country, large footprint, and different in many ways. If you go to the south in Asir, the north in Hayel, or Tabuk, the east, each one of these regions have its own heritage, its own kind of identity in terms of architecture. How do we preserve this? How do we make sure that we don't standardize building that every city looks the same, which has happened in the 80s and 90s? This is why we're doing architectural guidelines to emphasize and validate the existing architecture that we have and make sure that it's a major part of what we do in Saudi Arabia, preserving our culture, our heritage, our unique architecture, is really a game changer for us. And I believe that this will be the most significant impact that the ministry and DASC, the Development Authority Support Center, will have on the country under the leadership of His Royal Highness. It's a massive initiative. He directed us to do it, and alhamdulillah, we're almost complete, and it should be launched soon, inshallah.
What do you think of pedestrianized streets? I'm looking at a few that come to mind, actually. There's one in London, just off King's Road, Pavilion Road. That was a street that's been pedestrianized. Al-Ula, there was a street that now has been pedestrianized. There seems to be success that comes with shutting down a road and opening it to just footfall. I don't think I've seen any in Jeddah, at least. Is that something that has ever been a thought?
By the way, not just in London and in Ula, Barcelona has done an amazing job. In Europe, they have a lot of pedestrian streets. I think the time will come for that once it comes at a stage where things are complete. And Pavilion Road, I know very well. I go there every day. But also there comes issues with it. Too many tourists. It impacts the residents of the area. But it's a great approach to look at urbanism and creating this 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute city, which is really the core of everything we do. And going back to the green space, in 2020, we have a target of 800 meters away from a green space. Each resident should be. The percentage of residents that were 800 meters away was about 59% in 2020. This year, in 2024, we'll finish around 66.6%. So we increased accessibility. And why 800 meters? It's an average of 10-minute walk. If you're an average walker, if you're a quick walker, it's less. If you're a slow walker, it's a bit more. But 8-10 minutes is the right number. And this is really a part of this of the urbanism that we're doing in the municipal sector.
There is a street in Jeddah that is begging to be pedestrianized. I'm not going to say pedestrianized because it's too extreme. You can't just shut traffic flow, but it doesn't need to be 4 lanes. And I'm so glad you came on the show so I can recommend it. If I can just get be a spark for the idea. Abdul Maqsood Khoja. Are there plans? It doesn't need to be 4 lanes. 2 would work. Hayy Rawda, yeah.
That's the first street we're going to attack.
That was the street.
Yeah, that's the main one. That's what sparked the idea. So we're definitely reducing. I'll send you some pictures of how the street will look. It definitely will be reduced to 2 lanes.
It's very popular today as is. I can imagine how much more popular it will be.
And it's the perfect, you pick the right street. It's the perfect street for this. Not fully pedestrian. We thought about it, by the way, to make it fully. But then there's accessibility too. There's a lot of residential areas there. You need to access. It's very hard to do. So we decided, I think, 1 or 2 lanes and with ample parking, wider sidewalks. But that's actually the plan with one of the plans that we're doing full district. So we're not just taking Abdul Maqsood Khoja, we're taking the full area and look at how to upgrade the infrastructure and make it really more suitable for walkability and cycling and e-mobility and all the things that